Hello and welcome to Only Stupid Answers. My name is Sam Basher.
And I'm DJ Wooldridge.
And today we're talking about Queen and Slim. First up, go watch this movie. Secondly, let's hop into some business. Queen and Slim is directed by Melina Matsoukas and is written by Lena Waithe, who you might know from Master of None as a writer and actress. She is unbelievably talented and also one of the co-creators for The Chi, or the creator, and she's one of the head writers for that show. Amazing. And this movie stars Daniel Kaluuya, as well as introducing Jodi Turner-Smith, and you also have Benito Martinez, Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. There you go. And many other wonderful actors.
Bokeem Woodbine.
I was about to say he's one of the standouts for me from this film. It's wonderful. And for the synopsis, for those of you who are not familiar, I've seen a lot of billboards for this movie. I did not see a lot of trailers for this movie until this week, and maybe Google. You were just listening to me talking about it. A couple's first date takes an unexpected turn when a police officer pulls them over. Very vague. And so we'll make sure that we stay vague as well. But I think overall the pitch has been pretty standard about what this movie exactly is. Let's go ahead and hop into it.
Yeah, because if you see the trailers, they're called in the trailers the Black Bonnie and Clyde. And so they have a run-in with a police officer that I think it's safe to say goes south.
Very south.
Yeah.
And then they go south.
Yeah, and then they go on the run. And it's mostly spending time with these people who I love the detail that they're on their first date, because that adds a lot of tension throughout because they don't know each other.
No, they don't.
Essentially.
And even then, it's like it's an okay first date. It's nothing special. It's that it's
not like sparks are flying or whatever.
They met on Tinder and she was lonely.
Yeah.
and he was just got off work, so it's very by the numbers, nothing heightened at all. And the credits don't even start going until after the confrontation, the event, and then that's when the movie kicks in, and it's just a nonstop ride from that to the end. And it's one of my favorite movies of the year, hands down.
What do we talk? We're talking about like the event, and the people are like, "Oh, what is it?" And they go see the movie, and it's the cop vanishes because of Thanos' snap, and then they have to spend.
I know they gotta go on the run.
They gotta go on the run. It's not that. It didn't spoil anything.
Well, guess you're gonna have to go see the movie to figure it out.
Before we go any further, right now Queen and Slim is sitting at 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. No critics consensus as of this recording,
which is weird because we're talking about this pretty close to the release date. And there have been screenings for this movie for a while. So it's surprising. But Universal, you mentioned this before recording. It's pretty cool that Universal, a major studio, is putting out a movie like this.
Yeah, it felt like back in the day, like a Fox Searchlight, or something like that.
R.I.P. Are they gone?
Who knows? You know what I mean? They don't have a little slot on the Disney Plus app.
One day,
one of these days. Because this is not your typical mainstream movie. I think it's safe to say. I think it the way it unfolds is very lyrical. It's very emotionally driven. It is exciting because they are on the run, and it unpacks a lot of the current social climate we're into. So if you're like, oh, I'm tired of all the bad news on the news, maybe this movie's not for you. Maybe you should go see Knives Out.
Maybe, but honestly, I think you should. I think people should still make the effort to go watch this movie.
Yes,
I think it's important, and harkening back to the current political climate. Of course, this movie is very topical when it comes to that, and the perspective of the movie is unique. It's unique as in I think a lot of reviewers. I'm going to use some of their words to help describe the way I feel about this. Is they call it's one of the blackest movies of the year, or ever, because it's unapologetically, and it's also fully capturing the experience of these two people on the run, but also everyone that they encounter. It's just perfect. It feels like a very much like a snapshot of what it's like to be someone who is black in America now. At least that's the vibes I'm getting. I am aware, if you're watching this review, by who is reviewing this movie right now. You can have your opinions or whatnot of that, but we just wanted to share that we think it is worth going to see this movie because it is not only topical, but also it is a work of art. And I think besides, not only are the performances amazing, I think Daniel Kaluuya does an amazing job in this movie, as well as Jodi Turner-Smith. And as introducing her, I can't wait to see what else she does after this. I think she's wonderful, and their dynamic is so unique. It's very like we've mentioned, it's their first date, and you kind of get vibes of being on a deserted island together, because there's not really any lifelines that they have. They have a few people that they can talk to, but overall they're by themselves and they're on the run, and something's going after them. In this case, it's the police, and they're being chased over state lines. And the way that, I think not only are their interactions like really both infuriating and sweet when they need to be, but the way that they interact with the people who are now aware of them, because it is taking place modern day. So any technology that a cop has to monitor what they've done has now been released. That basically people know. Everyone around the country, at the very least, knows who these people are, what they look like, and what they've done. So the way that how they start interacting with people of either different backgrounds or a different race than them or the same race, and it's just like, and the way that they view the world and how they choose to interact with them is always a blend of stressful, but also curious, I guess I'd say, where it's not I was going to say relief, but it's not, because at the same time you're stressed out. Like at any time they could just call the cops and then it'd be over. It'd be done. But the music in this movie, you can go download the album right now. I actually went to Spotify and I was able to find the song that got stuck in my head. I'm going to pull it up really quick. I'm not going to play it. YouTube, you almost got me that time. But I would very much like to be able to take my family to go see this movie because I think they'd appreciate it. And it definitely feels like something that's worthy of an Oscar nomination.
100%. I like you said, I think the performances are A+ across the board. I really the segment we spend with Bokeem Woodbine and his little makeshift family that he has, which includes Indya Moore from Pose, which I'm also a big fan of that show on FX, so I recommend checking that out. Hopefully, we were just talking about the Disney merger now. Hopefully, that doesn't get mucked up in all that, because it's a really lovely show. And I think the intent behind this and the thought put into it is really lovely. I will say, as just small criticisms from me, I do think this movie is a little bit too sentimental for my taste. And that, whenever you've got people like, all I want is somebody to kiss away the scars, and then they become bruises, and then bruises are butterflies, and I start to tune out a little bit. And
I love that's the stuff I eat up.
And the movie
very
kind of
Romeo
gets,
and Juliet.
Yeah, the movie kind of like has moments like that that are lovely. They're just not quite to my taste. And an aspect I do really like is that it does take spend a lot of energy to depict the nuances within the Black community as they might react to a situation like this, and what that would mean to them, and how people like this would be viewed, and how just because you're part of the same community doesn't necessarily mean you're on the same side. And I think that's really interesting. But on the flip side, little things I think would have benefited the overall what this movie's trying to do, because there's certain moments where, like, to keep it vague, there's a certain scene in a gas station that doesn't make much logical sense.
I agree.
And
I agree with that.
Yeah. And I think in certain cases like that, if you'd spent a little bit more to inform the logic in it, just slight things that made it play out different, I think this movie would have gone from a movie I really, really enjoyed to an all-time favorite.
The gas station scene in particular, it's a scene early on, so while our characters are stressed and on the run, there's still some, like, naivete.
Yeah.
Am I using that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah. Where I get it enough, but at the same time, it felt like tension for tension's sake, and it wasn't my favorite scene in the movie. And also, definitely didn't remember it until you mentioned it. I remember a lot of other things in this movie besides that scene. I do want to say Tat Radcliffe is the cinematographer for this movie, and I thought a lot of the shots in this movie were very emotionally driven, and they were dynamic, and and a lot of the scenes do a good job of raising the stakes, but also allowing you to feel like the joy that they're able to experience in just like these little 5-second bursts when they get to feel free or whatnot. I thought that was amazing. But the last thing I want to say is that the score is phenomenal in this film, and specifically, I think everyone should go out and download the album. I mentioned that earlier, but the standout for me is Running Away. Blood Orange, Ian, Isaiah, and Jason Arce, Arce. Go check them out. The Running Away is a popular song, but it's the musical score behind it and the piano orchestration that they have. It's this like kind of melodic fairy tale, whimsical dreamscape type sound where it almost romanticizes the idea of that running away feeling that we all had as kids, but but at the same time it's got a darker tone to it where you understand that it's like a nightmare a little bit. There's a good mix to it where it's like this, it feels otherworldly.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. So cast is amazing. I think the writing is really good in this movie for me, and the score. This film deserves nominations, I think, in its score. Maybe possibly Jodi Turner-Smith or Daniel Kaluuya. Honestly, I think they both did a really, really good job in this movie. And Lena Waithe, possibly for
a screenplay.
Yeah, I think that they are deserving of these nominations. Hopefully, it's in the screener packages that are going out right now. And Universal put some money behind this because I think you already supported it by releasing it with the Universal logo. It's not like a subsidiary or anything. You're saying this is one of your staples. I think this is worthy of an Academy Award.
This is going to be your next franchise along Fast and Furious.
There you go. Yeah, just gotta, well, what's the sequel?
Yeah.
Queen and Slimmer. Boom. I'd give it out of 10.
Yes.
Because I don't think this movie, for fun scores, I don't know. I don't know if it lines up with the tone of this movie. I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. And I think it's like right at an A- for me.
I agree. I actually, like we said earlier, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's a 89%, and that feels like actually like spot on. Yeah. It's right there, like an 8.9 or a 9. Really lovely movie. I agree with Sam. 100% go out and support it. Go out. You know what? Maybe go out, take the fam to see Knives Out, and then later go with your friends to go see Queen and Slim.
Yeah.
Unless your family needs to see this movie, then maybe force them.
There might be families that need to see this movie. There are definitely families that need to see this movie. So please go support it. Support movies like this. It's cool when studios are able to put out movies like this. I wish there was more promotion around it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's kind of flying under the radar, and that it's not doing service to an amazingly well put together production. So please watch it. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. If you are able to see it, because we've been seeing some support coming out already with special screenings.
Yeah.
Big shout out to the guy who was Googling actors during the movie and showing it to his girlfriend. You blow, dude.
Yeah.
But thank you, Universal, for putting together the screening.
Don't invite that guy again.
That guy sucked. Also, they openly wept at the end of the movie, like I'm like, oh my God, every part of you sucks. Every part of you sucks. I love bad movie theater experiences. You can also let us know your favorite in the comments down below. DJ, where can people find you?
At DJ Talks Trash. You can find this boy at Sam Basher, and you can follow us at Only Stupid Answers.
You got the vowels from stupid. Patreon.com/Only Stupid Answers. Be there or be lame.
You know what I'm saying?